Hi, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Morgan. I have my baby here along with me, so if you hear anything, it's just him. If you've been watching my previous couple videos, I've been talking about making a jalapeno popper chicken casserole from the Pioneer Woman, or Ree Drummond, and tonight's the night. I'm gonna be making it for dinner tonight, but I'm gonna get one in the oven for now, and then hopefully, if I have enough, I will get two in the freezer. I'm not following the Pioneer Woman's exact recipe. I'm taking my own liberty towards it because I can't ever follow a recipe exactly. I will link her actual recipe down below, and I can also include what I'm adding to it in the description box. So I have most of my ingredients prepped, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and preheat my oven to 375. Now that I have the oven preheated behind me, I'm gonna go ahead and get my seasoning blend all put together. So first, I'm gonna start off with salt. I'm gonna do 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons of black pepper. I'm gonna do a teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 3 teaspoons of chili powder. Actually, I'm gonna make that 4. And 2 teaspoons of cumin. I am gonna go ahead and add 1 more teaspoon of garlic powder and onion powder. Just because this is going on the chicken and the jalapenos. I want to make sure I have enough seasoning to go on everything. Now I'm just going to give this a quick stir. And this is technically like a sheet pan meal. So you only have to dirty a sheet pan, but you could easily make this in a skillet if you wanted to. But I'm going to be doing it on sheet pans. So now I have about 9 chicken breasts that I had thawing in the sink. They were frozen, so they are kind of stuck together. But I'm just gonna get them all onto my cookie sheet. Next, I'm gonna get my jalapenos all onto my little cookie sheet. Hopefully they all fit. But I have, not quite sure how big this is. This is 1.2 liters worth of jalapenos. For one recipe, it does state you would need 6 jalapeno peppers. Mine are all pretty small though. I have however many this is. And I'm just gonna kind of get them all into an even layer, because we're just gonna be roasting these down. All right, we got our jalapenos. Her recipe states to use olive oil, but I would rather use avocado. So I'm gonna drizzle everything with some avocado oil. And then season it with our spice rub. If you don't like any of those certain spices, you could totally swap them with whatever you'd like. It is your kitchen, your rules. Do what you like. So if you wanted more heat, you could totally add cayenne pepper or whatever you want. Now I'm gonna get it all mixed up. Our peppers are all ready to go into the oven, so I'm gonna get these set aside. Now I'm just gonna evenly distribute the seasoning all onto the chicken, both sides. I know this might gross some people out, but I am totally fine using my hands working with chicken. If you wanted to, wear gloves. Like I said, it's your kitchen, your rules. I just always make sure to wash my hands really well after working with raw chicken. Now I'm going to get 1 pack of bacon onto my cookie sheet. And depending on how much room I have on my cookie sheet, I'll try to fit another pack on here. But if not, I will just get by with 1 pack. I do have some pre-cooked bacon, so if I need some more, I'll just add some pre-cooked bacon. All right, now I'm gonna get this all spread out onto my cookie sheet. Normally I can only fit 1 pack of bacon per sheet, so we'll see. I always think it can fit more bacon than what it actually can. Yeah, I'm only going to be able to fit 1 pack, so I will use some pre-cooked bacon if I need a little bit more. I'm lucky that I have 3 baking racks in my oven, or else what you would do typically, if you're just one-timesing the recipe, you would put half your chicken breast onto 1/2 of the cookie sheet, your jalapeños on the other half, and then your bacon on 1 full one. So that's why I'm doing the 3 trays, is because I do have 3 racks in my oven. So I'm gonna get it all in the oven at 375. Basically, you're just gonna pull it out whenever each one is done. Since the chicken was a little bit frozen in the middle still, that one's probably gonna take a little bit longer. But I'm thinking the jalapeños and the bacon are gonna be done before the chicken. I'm gonna estimate that they'll be done within the 25-minute mark, but the chicken might take more like 30. Now that all of that is in the oven, we're gonna go ahead and get started on the cheese mixture. And I did forget to mention, all of those jalapeños were topped and deseeded. I'm dealing with food, and my baby always thinks that if I'm making something that he's eating right now. So if you hear him oohing like, hey, give me some food, just that's why. So next, I'm going to dice up 2 sweet onions. And I'm going to give these a pretty small dice. Next, I'm going to add 3 blocks of cream cheese. And I just had this softening to room temperature on the counter. For this recipe, I'm doubling some things and tripling others. So if you follow my recipe, we'll see how it turns out. Next, I'm gonna add probably 2 cups of cheddar cheese. Spoiler alert, this recipe turns out just fine. It's still delicious, and I highly recommend you try it. So probably more like 2.5. About 3/4 cup of sour cream. One cup of chicken stock. That was homemade chicken stock, so it's very gelatinous. And about 3 teaspoons of paprika. I am taking my own personal liberty with this. I'm gonna add a little cumin, a little chili powder, garlic powder, onion powder, and I just buy the minced onion like granules, and I just grind them myself in my coffee grinder to make my own onion powder. pepper. And same thing, I buy whole black peppercorns and grind them in my coffee grinder, spice grinder, and have my own fresh black pepper all the time. Probably half a teaspoon of salt. I don't want to make it too salty. And now we're just going to give this a mix. Now we're just waiting for everything to come out of the oven now that we have our cheese mixture all mixed together. I had both the bacon and the peppers in the oven for 25 minutes. And I'm not letting this precious bacon fat go to waste. I'm adding it into my jar that I just keep in the fridge. I have it labeled as oink grease. And I love to use bacon fat when I'm searing steaks or with potatoes especially. This bacon was very hot because it was straight out of the oven, so I'm just using tongs to hold it in place and giving it a rough chop. I want bigger pieces since this will be inside the casserole. I set off the smoke alarm, so I had to quit talking for a little bit to let the exhaust fan run. So I'm going to add all of the bacon into the cheese mixture. If you were following her recipe exactly, you would add half of the bacon to the cheese mixture, and then we would add the other half onto the top. But I'm just adding all of it to the cheese mixture, and then I'll add pre-cooked bacon on top. 8 out of the 9 chicken breasts were cooked. This one just needs a little bit longer, so I'm gonna stick this one back in the oven while I dice up these and add these to the cheese mixture. And I'm using tongs to help me cut this up because obviously these are straight out of the oven, so they are very hot. This seasoning blend is just dynamite in my opinion. The cumin, the chili powder, onion powder, garlic powder, salt and pepper is just spot on. But like I said earlier, do whatever you like. Don't ever feel like you need to follow a recipe exactly step for step. Everyone's palates are wildly different, so do whatever you like. It's your kitchen, your rules. I'm gonna get this all stirred up since I'm waiting on that one last chicken breast. And I'm hoping to get 3 casseroles out of this, but I'm thinking it just might be 2. We'll see. Since I didn't completely triple everything, and it only makes an 8x8 dish, so it doesn't make a full 9x13. We are still waiting on that one chicken breast, but I'm gonna go ahead and start layering everything all together. So I'm gonna take some of this cheese mixture and get it layered onto the bottom of my baking dish. I love to use glass whenever I am storing my freezer meals in the freezer, but when I'm out, I just stick to my aluminum foil pans and they work just the same. Plus, the good thing about foil pans is you don't have to worry about potential breakage. I'm gonna spread it around kind of evenly. If you watched my lasagna freezer meal video, I froze 2 lasagnas in glass containers and my husband accidentally broke one, and I ain't gonna lie, I was a little devastated. Now I'm gonna add a layer of jalapeños. It broke by him balancing it on the side of the freezer and he accidentally knocked it off. So just be careful whenever you're freezing in glass. I'm gonna get this last chicken breast all cut up. I'm gonna add the rest of of this half of the pan of jalapenos around in here. Alright, now I'm going to take the last of the chicken mixture and put it on top of the jalapenos. If you wanted to add a carb to make this kind of, I guess, a more balanced meal, this would be really good in burritos, with potatoes, on top of rice. Honestly, the options are limitless because this is just a really good base to start off with. Now I'm going to spread it all around. This would be really good with even pasta noodles if you wanted to add a carb. I wish we could have gotten 3 pans out of this, but one for now and one for later is just as good. Now I'm going to line the last of these jalapenos onto the chicken mixture. And then we just have one more thing to add, and then we will be putting this one in the oven, and this one will be cooling for the freezer then. If you don't like spicy foods or just jalapenos in general, you could swap it out for bell peppers or any pepper that you'd like. I do have one bell pepper scattered throughout in with these jalapenos, just because I picked it from the garden. If you watched my canning banana pepper video, I just had one that I picked, so I just threw it in with these jalapenos. Last but not least, I have about 4 tablespoons of salted butter I'm going to get melted. Alright, so I have 4 tablespoons of melted butter. I'm going to add about probably a cup or 2 of Panko breadcrumbs. I've got 2 cups right now, and I'm going to get this all mixed in with the butter. I'm just going to go ahead and add the rest of my container of Panko breadcrumbs because I most likely won't be using them for anything else, and I don't want them to go to waste, and a little extra crunch on top won't hurt. Her recipe states that you use half Panko breadcrumbs and half either fried jalapenos or fried onions. But since I have Panko breadcrumbs in my pantry from when I made jalapeno poppers, I just decided that I'm just going to only use Panko breadcrumbs so I don't have to have 2 bags of something open. Now I'm going to add some just pre-cooked bacon. Probably a cup's worth. I just eyeball everything. If you've watched my other 2 freezer meal videos, you know I mostly eyeball everything. Some things I'll measure, but I mostly just eyeball. Now I'm gonna get this evenly spread onto both of my casseroles. I stumbled across this recipe about 3 years ago or so now. And I first made it for my husband and his friends, and I fell in love with it after I made it that first time. So anytime I have fresh jalapenos from the garden, I make sure to make it. I'm gonna pop this casserole in the oven at 375, still haven't changed the temperature, for about 25 minutes. This one I'm gonna let cool completely. I'm gonna wrap it up and stick it in the freezer. Right, there we have it. I'm gonna get this all dished up and we're gonna have this for dinner. This one, it's almost cooled completely, so I'm gonna put saran wrap over the top and then aluminum foil and then get this one in the freezer. When I go to bake this one, I'm gonna let it thaw completely And then I will bake it just the same as this one, 375 for probably about 25 minutes or so. This one I pulled out at the 20-minute mark because I didn't want the breadcrumbs on top here to start getting burnt. And I'm just plain hungry. Thank you all so much for coming along with me as we made one jalapeno popper casserole for now and one for later. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. This casserole turned out so good. If you like spicy, creamy, bacony, cheesy things, this is definitely something you should try. It is absolutely delicious, and I highly recommend it.